Hello, in this video I'm going to talk about the linking and intonation that's important when you are asking questions. So first of all, I want to give you a little bit of an introduction to linking. We link inside of words. So let's look at these words here. Notice when I say each of these words, I say them as if they are one word, not as if they are two. So I say create, cooperate, biology, and do you experience blackouts? So I don't say create, cooperate, biology, or blackouts. No, we say them as if they are one word, blackouts, biology. All right, so we link within words. We also link between words in thought groups. So in your listening and clear speaking class, you learned a little bit about thought groups and intonation patterns within thought groups. Let me talk about some of the linking, the types of linking that happens within thought groups. Okay, so first of all, we link consonants to vowels. So if one word ends in a consonant and the next word begins in a vowel, then we link from the consonant to the vowel. Let me give you an example here. So do you mind if I? Notice I say mind if I. So it sounds like the D moves to the if. Do you mind if I? And the F moves to the I. Do you mind if I come in? Mind if I come in? Did he like it? Notice it's not did he like it. It's did he. So the H disappears and the D links, did he, and then like it. Did he like it? All right, let me give you some other examples. What brings you in today? Notice there's the S here, brings you. The S joins to the Y. What brings you in today? We're just about. Notice the T links to the A, just about done. Are you finished eating? The ED ending sounds like a T here, and then it's finished eating, teating. Are you finished eating? What about? Notice the T links to the A. What about? What about your appetite? Would you like the fish or the chicken? Fish or, notice there's that SH links. Would you like the fish or the chicken? What can I do? Can I? What can I do to make you, the K to the Y, make you feel comfortable? What can I do to make you feel comfortable? Is it, notice the S links to the I, is it that this isn't a good time? Isn't a, notice the T links, isn't a good time? Or is it, or is it, or is it about? Oh, or is it about? Notice all those consonants move and link to the next vowel. Or is it about baths in general? Baths in general. So it depends on how fast you speak. Is it that this isn't a good time? So if you pause, if you have two thought groups here, is it that this isn't a good time? Then you wouldn't link between the thought groups necessarily, but within the thought groups. So is it that this isn't a? Let's see one more here. Have you ever had a seizure? Have you, the V and the Y kind of join, have you ever had a seizure? Blackouts. So blackouts, sometimes people, you might think you should say them as in two words, but they're just one word. It is just one word. Or a stroke. So have you ever had a seizure, blackouts, or a stroke? All right, so that's linking from consonants to vowel. And again, if a word ends in a consonant and the next word begins with a vowel, the consonant almost. So let me talk now about the linking that happens when one word or syllable ends with a vowel and the next word or syllable begins with a vowel. So in this case, we sometimes add a little y or y sound, y, or sometimes we add a little w or w sound. All right. So let me go over some examples and then I will talk about when we use one or the other. All right, so let's look at the Y examples here. So let's first look at the words. So biology, create, diabetes. Do you hear that little Y sound in there? Biology, create, diabetes. We don't stop the air when we say those words. We say them as if they are one word and as if there's a little Y in the middle. All right. We also link in between words and sentences. So if you see in the second sentence there, do you see it? Notice C ends with a vowel. It begins with a vowel, and we say see it. Do you see it? See it. You hear that little Y sound? Um, I ends with a vowel. Agree begins with a vowel. So we say I agree. I agree. Any, that E sound in any is a vowel, and other begins with a vowel. So you could say any any other problems? And then in the last sentence on the left side here, me ends with a vowel and about begins with a vowel. Tell me about the pain. All right, so those are the Y examples. Let me talk about the W examples here. So just listen to the W in the first word, cooperate. We don't say cooperate. I say cooperate. And so that's within words, but also between words. How old are you? We don't say how old, but we say how old. How old are you? How often do you take it? Do you often? You often. Do you often go on? Go on. Do you often go on trips? Did he do it? Do it. What brings you in? You win. You win today. You hear that W? Have you ever, have you ever had a seizure? How about, diabetes? So have you figured out when to use the Y and when to use the W? If the first word or syllable ends with an E sound, and so your lips are kind of in a little bit of a smile, like that yellow guy there on the screen, then you use a Y sound. So buy, cre, die, see, I, all of those words leave your mouth in a slight smile. All right. So you use the Y sound. See it. If the first word ends in a vowel that leaves your lips rounded, kind of like the green dude on the screen there, then you use a W sound. So cooperate. How old? How often? All right. Move and talk to you a little bit more about linking. Sometimes there's words that end in a D, especially in questions. There's a lot of words that end in a D, and then the next word begins with a Y. And this is especially common with a did and would. All right, sentences with or questions with did and would. In this case, the D and the Y makes a J sound. So let me give you some examples. Did you? Did you take your medication? Did you? It's not did you, but did you? Would you? Would you like your bath now? The D and then the Y sounds like a J. Would you like your bath now? What would you prefer? Would you? What would you prefer? How would you feel about that? Okay, sometimes a word ends in a T and the next word begins with a Y, and this also happens in questions and often with what. Um, with the word what, and that's common in questions, right? But with other combinations as well. So tell me about your medications, what about your mood? What about your mood? Can you describe what you're feeling? Can you tell me what your name is? What your name is? So not everybody in Canada um, joins the words that end with T and then the next word begins with a Y. Sometimes people don't use the ch sound. Some will just say, tell me about your medications. What about your mood? They might just stop the air with the T and then start with the Y. But it's also very, very common to hear the ch sound about your mood, about your medications, what you're feeling, what your name is. All right. So let me just go over a quick rule about stress and intonation. First of all, content words are stressed, not usually grammar words. All right. And secondly, the last stress syllable in a word group usually has the sentence stress unless you're trying to convey a different meaning. This means with rising intonation, the key syllable or the syllable with sentence stress is the lowest in pitch. And after that, the rest of the sentence rises. All right. And with falling intonation, that key syllable, the one with sentence stress, is the highest in pitch, and the rest of the sentence falls. Okay, so let me give you some examples of rising intonation, where the key syllable is the lowest pitch and the rest of the sentence rises. Now, just before I do that though, there are many different okay ways to say a particular sentence. So I might give you more than one example, all right? So let's look at the first one. Seat is the last stressed syllable. So do you mind if I have a seat? So here the seat, it goes down and then up. Let's say for the second question, we want to stress full, all right? So could I get your full name? Maybe they gave me just their first name, but could I get your full name? Or I could just say, could I get your full name? With allergies, allergies is the last stress syllable in the third sentence here. L is the stress syllable. So do you have any allergies? Do you have any allergies? In the fourth sentence, medications is the K would be the last stress syllable. So you'd say, are you on any medications? Are you on any medications? In the fifth sentence, pain is the last stress syllable. So you would say, can you describe your pain? It's only one syllable, so you have to go down and then up in one syllable. Can you describe your pain? In the sixth sentence, swelling or swell would be the last stress syllable. So you could say, has there been any swelling? Has there been any swelling? Maybe you want to emphasize the word any, though. Has there been any swelling? Has there been any swelling? So it depends what you're emphasizing. In the second to last sentence here, bath would be the last stressed content word. So you could ask, would you like to have your bath now? So it's kind of flat. Would you like to have your bath now? And in the last sentence, tell is probably the key word that you want to stress here. So you would say, do you want to tell me about it? But maybe you want to stress me, as in you want to tell me, not someone else. You could say, do you want to tell me about it? All right. Okay, let me give you some examples of falling intonation. The key syllable, again, in falling intonation, is the highest in pitch, and the rest of the sentence then falls. All right, let's look at some examples. So here is, what's your name? Name is the syllable, that's the key syllable, and so it has to both rise and fall in the one syllable. What's your name? How are you doing? Oh, that's the next one here. Do is the last stress syllable, so it'd be how are you doing? Do is the highest point, ing goes down. So here in this sentence, where would be the last stressed syllable would have the sentence stress, so it is the highest point. What would you like to wear today? What would you like to wear today? In this sentence, maybe comfortable. Comfortable would be the stressed word. So you'd say, what can I do to make you feel comfortable? Or maybe you want to change it and stress the I. What can I do to make you feel comfortable? In this sentence, feel is probably the stressed syllable, the syllable with your sentence stress, so it is the highest point. How would you feel about that? Or you might want to stress that, whatever it is. How would you feel about that? In this sentence, spell is probably the highest pitch, or the sentence, the word that has the sentence stress. So you would say, how do you spell that? How do you spell that? In this sentence, born would be the word with the sentence stress. So you could say, when were you born? When were you born? And in this sentence, we would generally stress the in. It's the second part of the two-word verb here. So what brings you in today? What brings you in today? And this last sentence, you might stress feel. How would you feel about that? Maybe you want to stress that, whatever it is that you're talking about. You could say, how would you feel about that? In either case, or in all of these, you need to have a rise before the fall. And I just want to mention this warning. If you don't have that rise before you use the falling intonation, if you just go straight across and then have the falling intonation, you come across as angry or annoyed. So what's your name? How are you doing? What would you like to wear today? You sound angry. What's your name? How are you doing? What would you like to wear today? Those sound more friendly. All right? So let's say I've asked someone their name, they told me their name, and I've forgotten their name. All right, so I feel a little bad about asking this question. I might say, what's your name? What's your name? If I think I should know it, but I forgot it. Or maybe I should know where they were from, but I've forgotten. I could say, where are you from again? Where are you from again? All right. We also use rising intonation to turn statements into questions, to convey uncertainty, especially when we're clarifying comprehension. And there will be an activity later on in this module where you're going to work on how to clarify comprehension. Here are some examples using that intonation pattern. You want the fish dinner? You're finding it difficult to sleep at night, is that right? You think the medication is making you nauseous? Even after a good night's sleep, you feel lethargic? Your symptoms are getting worse? All right. It's just about your turn to start practicing.